Hey everyone. So it sounds like a lot of you are curious about this possible rate cut coming up and how it might shake things up in the crypto world.
Yeah, there's definitely a buzz in the air right now.
For sure, for sure. So we took a deep dive into a recent episode of Paul Barron's Tech Path, that crypto
Oh,
analyst.
yeah, I follow him.
He seems to have his finger on the pulse.
He does, he does.
And he kicked things off by saying, this week is going to be huge E for the markets. Like,
Yep.
buckle up, kind of huge.
Yeah, no kidding. You've got the retail sales data dropping, that big FOMC meeting, the Federal Open Market Committee, the ones who actually set the interest rates.
Right, right.
And on top of that, we've got the Bank of England and the Bank of Japan making their own rate decisions. Busy week!
Like, everyone's watching the Fed.
Oh, absolutely. Whatever they do is going to send ripples through the whole global economy. It's not just a U.S. thing.
Okay, so it's the butterfly effect, but with interest rates.
Exactly.
I like that. So Barron mentioned that, initially everyone was thinking it'd be a typical 25 basis point rate cut.
Yeah.
And just a quick reminder for anyone who needs it, basis points, that's how we measure changes in interest rates. So we're talking a potential 0.25% decrease.
Right, 0.25%. And here's where it gets juicy.
Okay.
Those predictions, yeah, they've shifted. Now, folks are putting their money on a 50 basis point cut, double what everyone thought.
Whoa, okay. So things are heating up. And then, as if that wasn't enough, you've got Senator Elizabeth Warren jumping into the rank, right?
Oh, yeah.
And she's calling for a 75 basis point cut.
Yeah.
She's basically shouting from the rooftops about a potential recession.
Which, let's be honest, is a pretty bold move. Makes you wonder if she knows something we don't.
Right. Like, what's she saying that's got her this worried?
I mean, think about it. A 75 basis point cut. That's huge. It would make borrowing cheaper for everyone. Businesses, regular people. That could really give the economy a boost.
Sure. But it could also mean the Fed is seriously freaking out about a recession.
Exactly. It's like a double-edged sword.
So we've got this backdrop of, well, potential chaos, frankly. Nobody knows how big this cut is going to be. And to try and make sense of it, Barron brings in like a whole panel of analysts, right?
Yeah, and let me tell you, they were not all on the same page about this.
Oh, really?
Not even close. It was fascinating, actually.
So give me some of the highlights. What were they saying?
One guy, I can't remember his name, but he basically said, look, there are signs of weakness in the economy. We can't ignore them. Might as well rip the Band-Aid off and make a big cut now. He was all for it. The bigger, the better.
Interesting. Interesting. Anyone else?
Oh, yeah, another analyst. She was more cautious. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, if they go for a 50 basis point cut, everyone is going to assume the Fed knows something we don't.
Like they're trying to hide how bad things really are.
Exactly.
Talk about two totally different takes.
Right, and it really highlights how unpredictable this whole thing is, especially in the crypto space, where things are already pretty volatile.
You get that right. So how do we make sense of all this then? I mean, we've got this potential rate cut looming with all its potential ups and downs, but what does it all mean for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market? That's what we really want to know, right?
Absolutely. That's the $1 million question, or should I say the million Bitcoin question?
I like that. So let's get into it. All right, so let's talk crypto, specifically Bitcoin. Barron, he actually put up some charts on his show, and to be honest, it wasn't the prettiest picture.
Yeah, things have been a little shaky in crypto land lately.
Yeah, and Barron even went so far as to say, watch out for more declines, especially with Solana. He seemed a little concerned about SOL.
Interesting. I haven't been following Solana as closely, but yeah, this rate cut, it adds a whole new layer of complexity to things.
Okay, so connect the dots for me. Rate cut, crypto, how's it all related?
Okay, so imagine this. Interest rates go down. Suddenly, those safe and boring investments, like bonds, they're not looking so hot anymore. They're not paying out as much.
Makes sense. So people want to find somewhere else to put their money where they can get a better return.
Exactly. And where do people go when they want higher returns, even if it comes with a little more risk?
Crypto.
Bingo. See, historically, when interest rates drop, investors get a little more adventurous. They start looking at those riskier assets, hoping to make a bigger profit. And crypto, well, let's just say it tends to fit the bill.
So a rate cut could actually be good news for crypto, at least in the short term.
Potentially, yes. But, and this is but remember, crypto, it's still the Wild West out there.
True. Very volatile.
Exactly. It's not as simple as saying rate cut equals crypto moon. A lot of other factors are at play.
For sure. So then Barron, on his show, He posed this question. He called it the $1 million question, or I guess in this case, the million Bitcoin question. And he asked his viewers, and I'm curious to hear your take on this too. He said, do we pump or do we dump on Wednesday? Basically, is the market going to rally or crash after the announcement? So what do you think, pump or dump?
If only I had a crystal ball. Look, everyone wants to know what the market's going to do, right? But if it were that easy to predict, we'd all be rich.
Right. We'd all be on that beach somewhere.
Exactly, sipping on something tropical. But the truth is, trying to time the market, especially based on a single event, even one as big as this rate cut, it's risky. It's a gamble.
So what's the move then? Just like wait and see what happens.
Basically, yeah. Don't panic. Don't make rash decisions based on the news. Focus on the fundamentals. What do you believe in? Do your research. What's the underlying value of the crypto you're interested in? Think long term.
So no more checking the charts every 5 seconds, huh?
You can check them, just, maybe not every 5 seconds. Take a breath. Think about your strategy.
Right. Be smart about it.
Exactly. Now, this whole situation got me thinking, and I want to run it by you.
Yeah, let's hear it. What do you think?
So we're all focused on this rate cut, right?
Yeah.
But what if we zoom out a bit? This whole thing, this economic uncertainty, the Fed maybe hitting the brakes on the economy because of recession fears. What if it's pushing people towards crypto in a bigger way than we realize?
Okay, now you've got my attention. I like where this is going. Explain that a little more.
Think about it. When traditional markets get shaky, people get nervous. They start looking for alternatives, for something outside of the system.
And that alternative could be, you guessed it, crypto. It's like their backup plan.
Exactly, like that emergency generator you have in case the power goes out.
Love that analogy. Okay, so you're saying this whole rate cut situation, regardless of what happens on Wednesday, it could be a major turning point for crypto adoption. People might finally see it as more than just a speculative investment.
Precisely. They might see it as a hedge against uncertainty, a way to diversify, or even a more efficient way to transact globally.
Yeah, and that's a perspective you don't hear every day.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, the charts, the price swings, but this is about something bigger.
Right, it's like a real shift in how we think about money and finance.
Exactly. And this rate cut, this whole economic climate, it could be accelerating that shift.
So it's not just about whether Bitcoin goes up or down next week.
It's about whether more people decide, hey, maybe I need something else. Maybe these traditional systems aren't as stable as I thought.
And that's where crypto comes in. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you really want to leave our listeners with today?
I'd say don't get so caught up in the short-term noise that you miss the long-term potential. Pump or dump on Wednesday. Honestly, it's just one data point and a much bigger story. The real question is, where do you think this technology, this whole idea of decentralized finance, where do you think it's going? Because that's the story that matters.
Love that. It's about the big picture, the long game. Well, a huge thank you to Paul Barron and TechPath for the inspiration for today's deep dive. And thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into the world of crypto.